In 1978, not many expected the thunderstorm to rain on the 70s parade of prog, punk, and new wave, later becoming an explosion of spandex suits, big hair, and epic guitar solos. But that is exactly what the Van Halen debut album did, shifting the mainstream rock and roll genre to a more bombastic nature with one big key element musically: the guitar. Regardless of what you think about him, Edward Van Halen was a well-known guitarist that is still an influence to millions of guitar players today. And when you hear a song like Eruption, it's easy to see why. In the same way that a vocalist illustrates the strength of their singing by doing so a cappella, Eddie shreds over no other instrumentation for almost 2 minutes straight. And at the end of that track, even if you aren't a guitar player, you know the band had chops. Up until this point in rock and roll, speed was not a key factor in guitar playing. Sure, every once in a while, a guitarist might play more quickly for emotional effect, like Pink Floyd's David Gilmour and Pigs, or Lynyrd Skynyrd's Freebird. But it wasn't often seen as a measure of one's technical guitar playing proficiency. But Eddie changed that, playing notes quickly and melodically with an intensity that had never been seen before, making it a measure of virtuosity. Not only that, but he used stronger distortion coupled with flange and chorus to give his guitar a more unique tonality that made it sound like it came from a different galaxy. Up until that point, guitars hadn't really sounded like that before. So instead of just David Lee Roth's bombastic, unearthly voice to carry the band, the guitar rose to prominence in this band to complement it. Whereas harmonies in the past came from backing singers, think the beautiful chorales of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, for example, the harmonies and melodies now were co-created between singer and lead guitarist. And this connection would only grow. Look at the hair bands like Guns N' Roses, Poison, Twisted Sister. These bands not only have the guitar as a second voice, they embrace it. Look to Poison's Nothing But a Good Time, where they announce that a guitar played after the solo. Or the way that Slash's solo on Paradise City is just as loud and more prominent than Axl Rose's screams at the end of the track. And I know what you're thinking. It's easy to see this as a bad thing that Van Halen inspired all these hair bands to create their sound. A lot of critics despise this music as silly, goofy, and cheesy. But these listeners miss the point that's been evident since Van Halen's debut. The intent behind Van Halen's music isn't to analyze it for its complexity. It's to play it loud in the summertime, out the car windows, at a backyard barbecue, when it's party time. Or, if you're a budding guitarist, it's something to strive for. Something to think to yourself as you listen to You Really Got Me, Jamie's Crying, and Running with the Devil, that maybe one day, you'll be as good as Eddie. You can't tell me that all the greatest shredders that fall off guitarists' tongues now, like Joe Satriani, Yngwie Malmsteen, Zakk Wylde, and Herman Lee, didn't listen to Van Halen for the first time without being amazed. As a guitarist myself, I can tell you, I certainly was. What about you? Do you see Van Halen's debut as an influential album for music of the 80s? Did it revolutionize the prominence of guitar? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I can't keep doing this without your help and support. I hope this helps. I love you all.